Greetings, everyone, and welcome back for another Braxton's breakdown. Okay, if this is your first time here and you want to be a part of our weekly conversations, such as this one, as well as our discussions on pop culture topics, social issues, and everything in between, then you can start right now by subscribing and clicking the notification bell so that you don't miss out. All right, if you are a returning viewer, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's get straight into it. Okay. So the episode opens up. This is episode 2, season 2, The Braxtons. The episode opens up with Ashlee on Tamar's podcast. Okay, I'm gonna be straight up with y'all. To me, Ashlee ain't talking about nothing. So far, we're in episode 2. I know we got a couple more episodes to go, but she really ain't talking about nothing. Okay. There was an alleged mental health expert on the stage who said that Ashlee was in victim mode and you can't heal while you're in victim mode. Ooh, how profound. Okay. And I say alleged mental health professional because Tamar's involved. So we don't know who that lady was. Okay. She was very nice, seemed very pleasant, but we don't know her. Anyway, James Rice Chanel, you guys noticed last episode and this episode, he was on stage, but he wasn't saying nothing. He was just, I guess, a prop. I don't know. Now, it is possible that a lot was edited out for the sake of not revealing like Tamar's entire podcast. So I know that editing, they play magical tricks and stuff like that. So it appears that James Rice Chanel had nothing to add. He didn't say anything, but he very well could have contributed to the conversation, but it was just edited out. Okay. I do have a question though. Where exactly does Tamar's podcast air? Does anyone know? Like, I didn't look it up, but is it like a podcast that's on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud? Like, because I had no clue that she had this podcast. I had never heard of it. Can y'all let me know? No? Did y'all listen to other episodes? I don't know. Anyway, in true Tamar fashion, right? She makes it about her. If you saw the scene, then you notice her body language. She's flipping her hair. She feeling her beats because she looked cute. All right. She got her new boobs and her makeup looked nice. Her hair looked nice. Her outfit was nice. And she was feeling herself. Okay. But I just don't think that that was the time and place for you to show off your fashions. I don't know. Tamar just, I don't take her seriously at all. Right. And she said to Ashlee, I'm sorry that I was not in a healed place to be there for you. Okay, so again, this is less about Ashlee, quote unquote, telling her story and more about the focus being on Tamar as being some sort of a hero. Okay, that's my perception. All right, that's how I see it. Tamar wants to be the Miss Save the Day, and Tamar was the one that made it possible. And again, all about her. As far as Ashlee, and this whole telling my story, uh, you know, situation, what exactly is telling part of a story supposed to do for anyone? And I felt this way from the first episode, but I said, let me just see where this goes. All right. Telling part of a story is helping people how exactly? And this goes for anyone, not just Ashlee. Like telling people about the tools that you learned, which I said in my previous review, and how you got over is a better story to tell. No, like everybody, a lot of people go through the same situations in life, and it's like, okay, we just sitting here talking about the same situations. Oh yeah, me too. I went through that too. Okay, but how did you get over? Okay, there are people who hear traumatic stories constantly, and there's also people who look for a resolution or guidance, when it comes to traumatic stories. So I could sit and talk about trauma all day. You could sit and talk about trauma all day with other people, but tell me about how you got over. Okay, that's a better conversation in my opinion. So I just feel that this is all for ratings, and it's a bit gimmicky. Okay, then we shift gears to Towanda. So right, Towanda, she gets hit by a car. Like, what are the odds? My goodness. So after dropping off Sean, who is her fiance, they got married, right? Anyway, Towanda was exiting the airport and she was struck by a car. And she said that, Sean saw her, he started crying, and he laid on the ground with her until the ambulance arrived. Okay, so production, they're scurrying and they're rushing, with all the drama, and they can be seen making their way into the hospital. And we see Towanda and Sean in the ER. Thankfully, Towanda is okay. All right, that's the most important thing. And she had to put on a cast because she fractured her wrist, so she was bummed out about that because she is planning for her wedding, and all the events leading up to her wedding. So they're supposed to be going to Mexico. She wants to still go to Mexico. Toni calls her while she's in the emergency room and tells Towanda that she shouldn't be going to the Bahamas. Toni Toni sounded a little disoriented. Is it me? I'm not making any accusations. Maybe she was tired. She sounded a little groggy and disoriented. And she said, Towanda, you shouldn't be going to the Bahamas. First of all, Towanda ain't going to the Bahamas. Wanda and her girls are going to Mexico. So Towanda is just like, yeah, Toni, I get it. You're concerned. And I'm still going to Mexico. She ain't trying to hear what Sister Toni has to say. Okay. Who is up next? Let me go to my. Okay. Next up is Tamar. But wait, let me go back to Towanda. It appears to me that Toni and Towanda have a pretty good relationship, right? You know, some of the sis they don't get along. You know, these two will get along. These three may get along without this one. It's just very scattered, and it's very obvious that they don't get along, and they're only merging for the show. Anyway, moving on to Tamar. So she has a photo shoot for a tour that she's going on with October London and another artist, right? Now, Tamar said in her confessional that she hadn't talked to Towanda in a long time prior to getting an invite to Mexico for the bachelorette party. So Tamar reminds us that she told us before that the only time that she hears from Towanda is when they are filming. Now, if you are familiar with Braxton family values, Tamar has said this. It's like I said, it's obvious the sisters do not get along. I don't think that they were really getting along even before they started taping for Braxton family values. And throughout the history of the show, things that happen, things that have been revealed, things that it's just gotten worse. It seems like their relationship has gotten worse. And they keep saying individually that since Traci has passed, they're working on mending their relationship. And I just think that they don't like each other. And that's okay that they don't like each other, but they don't have, it doesn't seem like they have respect for each other. And that's the problem. I think that they need to work on accepting the fact that they're individual people and they're all grown now. So it's not like they have to be forced to be together. Whereas I'm pretty sure the mother and the father, especially Evelyn, was trying to make them stick together for the sake of how it looks, and y'all all family, and y'all listen, people you're related to are human beings, and everybody doesn't like everybody. And I'm a firm believer in just because somebody is related to you doesn't mean that you have to be around them or have to have a relationship with them. Some people just ain't no good. It is what it is. You know, it's unfortunate because they grew up together under the same roof. You understand what I'm saying? And it just sucks. You would think that they would be closer, but people, listen, you can't control who people grow up and evolve to be. And if someone is a completely different person in their adulthood than they were as a child, that's completely normal. And just because you're related to them, you don't have to be around them, but you don't have to beef either. You know what I'm saying? Like the beefing and the arguing and the animosity, that is what needs to be resolved. And will it be resolved in this lifetime? Maybe. Maybe not, you know. Anyway, so Tamar, I'm looking at my notes. Tamar, she said that she can't go to Mexico because it's her birthday weekend. Again, we know y'all don't like each other, and this show is being done for money. That's what I gather, and it's blatantly obvious. So Tamar says that she thought that she was going to be a bridesmaid, but was given the title of maid of honor. Now, how was Tamar assigned maid of honor and she and Wanda don't talk? So that didn't make sense to me, and I said somebody lying. Somebody's definitely not telling the truth. So production shows a video that Tamar recorded on her phone saying that she would be honored to be Tawanda's maid of honor. And I said, why not call her? Like, they're all weird. Like, this is just weird to me. And I thought, like, was this a recording for the show? And in the video, Tamar looked like she was being forced to smile and say, I would be honored to be your maid of honor. How? You just said y'all don't talk. And y'all only talk when you guys are filming. So no one picked up the phone to actually call anyone to say, hey, D-do, D-do. No? Anyway, Tamar then says that she didn't hear from Wanda and didn't get a call from a wedding planner. So Tamar's basically saying, like, when she did the video, she sent the video to her. Again, that's weird. Y'all not strangers. Y'all may not get along, but anyway. And she said after that video, after she sent the video to Towanda, she didn't hear from her. She said she didn't hear from a wedding planner. And again, why not call? To me, it just seemed like production kind of set this all up. And it also seemed like Tamar didn't want to be involved, associated with, or even attend Tawanda's wedding, to be honest with you. So Tamar feels that all of this was a setup to make it look like that she's not supportive of Towanda. Okay. So we shift gears and we see Tamar at her photo shoot, and she's talking to he's a music producer, but he's also her quote unquote best friend. Tamar got a best friend. Every season she changes best friends. Anyway, so she wanted her friend to go with her, and he says he doesn't want to go, and I totally don't blame him. He ain't stupid. First of all, that's family drama. That ain't got nothing to do with me. He probably know how Tamar is, and he don't want to be involved or associated. So Tamar says that she's not going because he's not going. So like I said, basically you never wanted to go. She's claiming that he's supposed to be her emotional support. Girl, bye. You never wanted to go. Okay. So she in her confessional, she admits, as if we didn't know, that to Tamar, that is, that she and Towanda are going through something and she doesn't know what it is. And I feel like Tamar knows that Towanda doesn't like her or her antics. And if you guys remember, Towanda has always told Tamar that she ruins everything and that she's the reason that people don't want to be around her. So Towanda seems like, to me, she doesn't tolerate Tamar just because they're sisters. And I think that Towanda keeps her distance from Tamar because she doesn't like her. Plain and simple. Like, if you go back to Braxton Family Values, she has said this to her face plenty of times, that she ruins everything and she got a nasty attitude, etc., right? And I'm sure that Tamar knows this because Towanda has told Tamar about herself several times on camera. What were they doing? They were doing like some sort of a dance rehearsal at Braxton Family Values. And I think Towanda just went off. Towanda doesn't strike me as the type of person that will hold her tongue for too long or bite her tongue for too long. She appears to be diplomatic, even though I remember Traci saying that she was a snake. I'll never forget that. And that made my eyebrows go up like, wait a minute now. They don't call her secret. Remember they used to call her secret squirrel? Anyway, so the photo shoot proceeds, right? And to me, this whole scene was so stupid. And it just shows that Tamar is just all things drama, right? So Tamar, she's being given direction by the photographer, right? And she doesn't like the bar scene because there's like a bar supposed to be a bar in the photo shoot, and she's asking, slamming her hand on the couch, why is there a bar? Just acting real juvenile. And she feels that her audience, this is not going to appeal to her audience. Now remember, she's being brought on tour by, or you know what, let me not say that because I don't know whose tour it is, but she's going on tour with 2 other people. Okay. So you're not the only person. I don't know if she was the headliner. Is she the headliner? She never said it. If she was, I'm pretty sure she would have said it multiple times. Right. So she doesn't like the direction the photo shoot is going. She doesn't like the bar scene, and she doesn't want to hold a martini glass because to her, it doesn't make sense. So she's in a gown. Tamar has on like this black gown, looks very nice. And the theme is somewhat like 007. This is according to the photographer. Okay. So Tamar, she says that her audience drink Long Island iced teas and not martinis. And that look ages her. How old is Tamar? Like, is Tamar aware of how old she is? She acts like a 19-year-old. You know what I mean? So she threw her little temper tantrum to end up wanting to hold a bottle of beer while in a gown, sitting on a couch with her leg cocked up. She said that she doesn't want to give Toni Braxton Unbreak My Heart. Nobody would have confused you with Toni Braxton. I'm certain of it. Okay. And to me, that scene was all manufactured drama for the show. You know, all that extra ish was unnecessary. Like I said, Tamar said that she didn't want to confuse her audience for Toni Braxton's show. Her show is tits and ass. And like I said, I don't believe that Tamar believes the foolishness that comes out of her mouth. And no one will ever confuse you or your show for a Toni Braxton show. That distinction is very evident, my dear. So she's just saying whatever. Anyway, um, what I also noticed, y'all, tell me if y'all noticed this, is them spoon feeding the scene where Toni and Tamar go at it. They're spoon feeding us that scene. So it's like, when are we gonna get to that scene? They keep showing it. We're on episode 2, okay? And they keep showing bits and pieces of that scene. All right. And who knows? They may drag it out until the end of the season to keep viewers engaged. Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this season is gonna. Anyway, moving on to Mexico. So Towanda, all right, she's sad because she says that her sisters aren't there for her, and in the past, she's been there for them. Anytime they needed help with anything, anytime they needed someone to execute things, she's always done whatever it is that they needed. And Trina revealed that Towanda has never had a wedding. She's been married, but this will be the first time that she's having a wedding, and she wants her biological sisters there. And she misses her sister. She misses Traci. She flashes back to moments that she's had with Traci on the show, and she misses her energy. I'm pretty sure if Traci was alive, Traci definitely would have been in Mexico with Wanda. Okay, so Toni, she basically says that she has events planned for work, and she couldn't make Towanda's bachelorette party, right? But she said that she would try to make her bridal shower. And Towanda said that she feels like she's being fit into a schedule. And I can understand her not feeling that. It's like, we're sisters, we're supposed to be all close and cool. And to my knowledge, I don't think that there's any static between Toni and Towanda. Toni did call. We've seen that she called and checked up on her while she was in Mexico. She still doesn't think that Towanda should have gone to Mexico because she knows that she's in pain. Towanda said, "I'm fine, girl, I'm fine." And then they're like, "Oh, we about to hang up on Toni Braxton." I guess it comes across as Toni's like the older nagging sister, but it is good to see that at least Toni called and checked up on Towanda. Towanda does have a large group of friends there, with her, but she said that she wanted her sisters to want to be able to plan these events for her. Okay. Then we shift back to Tamar and the showrunner, OG. So in her confessional, right, Tamar calls out OG saying that he was the one that told her that Towanda doesn't want her to come to Mexico. See, I told you production is stirring up mess. Now, a clip is shown where Towanda says that Tamar wasn't really trying to come and that Tamar will just mess everything up. And, production is probably stirring up mess because they want to have scenes to shoot, right? There's already tension between Towanda and Tamar. So anybody coming in the middle of that instigating is just going to make matters worse. But then the showrunner probably thinks like, this is going to be easy to instigate because they already not feeling each other anyway. I think that like I said before, Towanda, she sees through Tamar's BS. And I think she knows that Tamar didn't want to come anyway. She just never wanted to go. And I just feel like she should just admit that. No one is talking to each other. So no one's communicating with each other. They have each other's phone numbers, for Christ's sakes. They've known each other longer than they've known any production on WeTV. So why are they listening to OG in this instance instead of picking up the damn phone and talking to each other? I don't get it. Anyway, moving along, Trina. Okay, so while Trina is trying to make that's Towanda's nickname. I thought that's so cute. Trying to make things happen while on this trip to Mexico for the bachelorette party. Trina, she's trying to hold everything together. She's trying to be there for her sister, support her, but she knows that her sister is sad. So in the middle of all these games and frolicking that the ladies are doing, Trina gets a phone call from Vaughn, who says that he went to the urgent care and they told him that he has heart failure. So Trina says that she's going to go home to her husband and tells production not to tell Towanda. Now, I don't know if she said, don't tell Towanda that I'm leaving, or don't tell Towanda, or she meant, don't tell Towanda that I'm leaving, or don't tell Towanda about Vaughn. I would assume she was saying don't tell Towanda about Vaughn, because I would hope that she wouldn't just pick up and leave and not tell Towanda what's going on. So we're going to have to wait to the next episode to see that. So hopefully, Trina will let Towanda know what's going on and let her know that she has to leave. Because if she plans on not telling her and dipping out, that's just going to make everything worse, especially because Trina was the only sister that showed up for Towanda. So I guess we will just have to wait and see. This episode was you know what I'm saying? It really wasn't, nothing explosive. I think that's the way that a lot of these reality TV shows go. Like shows like this one, the first episode was okay, intense. The next episode will be kind of corny. The next episode will probably be turned up and intense, and so on and so forth. Okay, but this scene in particular, I'm telling you, I'm starting to get a little annoyed, and I know it's only episode 2 that they're just like, we already seen this in the trailer. We already seen this in the opening scene of the episode 1. Stop showing us this until it gets to the point where you're actually going to show the whole scene. And if they drag it out to the very end, I ain't going to be mad because I'm expecting it. I get it. You got to keep viewers engaged and keep us hooked so that we see everything leading up to this very moment. And I don't know. I have a feeling that this is going to be it's just the build up, and then it's going to be anticlimactic. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably going to be whack. They're probably going to laugh at the end, and then the season's going to end. Who knows? I don't know. I don't have any expectations, really. But just to sum it up, yeah. This was okay. This was cute. It was light. I would like to see Trina talking a little bit more. I don't think that I'm going to get what I'm hoping for, which is Trina being more vocal about what transpired with Gabe. I doubt that I'm going to see it. I don't want to hear Ashlee anymore telling her story. I don't. Like, I'm just telling my story. You ain't really saying much. No offense. And I mean that respectfully. I'm going to do a separate video, y'all, on Trina, Michael Braxton, and Gabe, because I see a lot of people are coming at Trina's neck, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I don't see a lot of people going at Michael Braxton, who is the one that has the gag order in place so that Ashlee can't talk about certain things as it pertains to her father. And I find that very, very interesting and quite disturbing as well. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this review for the Braxtons season 2, episode 2. Okay. Like I said, if you are new here, please like the video, drop down in the comments and share your thoughts. If you want to join the weekly conversations for the Braxtons, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you are alerted every time a video is uploaded. All right, y'all, I'm signing off. I love you for watching, and I will talk to you later.